hacer?
Bien.
The meeting is set in a Toronto park.
Me llamo Jesús.
Jesús.
Jorge.
Jesus doesn't know I'm an undercover journalist, but I know he's a gatekeeper for a smuggling network moving people to America through Canada for a price.
Salimos de aquí, 3,300, y estando ya en el carro de Estados Unidos, se pagan $700. Se dan 500 para apartar el lugar.
He moves fast.
El viaje es el día viernes, salimos de aquí de Toronto y nos vamos hacia Montreal. Okay. Yo tengo un guía, un especialista que conoce ya tiempo toda la ruta y es el que... Sí.
I give him the deposit. The wheels are in motion. 3,000 kilometers to the south, danger and death tolls rising along the Mexico-U.S. border. Amidst that chaos, whispers of another safer route to the north, feeding smuggling networks in cities like Toronto. But for many, these promises of an easier path to the American dream through Canada aren't what they seem. Okay, straight north of here is the Canada-U.S. border, and local residents have actually pointed us to a path that's been recently used, and they told us that there's evidence that people have been through here, including clothes that have been left behind. So we're gonna go in and take a look. Definitely someone has walked through here. It's rough going, through here, especially at night.
Nos los pintaban bonito. Y ya ahí, pues, como dije, no es tanto problema, voy a intentar irme.
21-year-old Yuzuri Martinez Alvarez needed to believe.
Tengo una niña de 1 año. Pues lamentablemente allá en México no se encuentra trabajo. Menos ahorita. Hay mucho feminicida, hay mucho peligro para las mujeres. Y un salario tan mínimo que nos dan. Que no.
Yuzuri was put in contact with a smuggler in Toronto.
Nos dijeron que solamente era 3 horas caminando, que teníamos que pasar por un maizal y por ciudad, que no había tanto peligro.
She didn't need a visa as a Mexican national, so she flew to the city in late May and spent her life savings to pay the smuggler's price.
Estaban cobrando $6,000. Éramos 3 hombres y yo, y nos llevaron hasta Montreal.
The car drove south under the cover of night, stopping just a kilometer from the line.
Y cuando ya llegamos, nos dijeron que nos teníamos que bajar corriendo. Entonces nosotros nos bajamos corriendo hasta que llegamos a un bosque. Y en el bosque nos perdimos, no encontrábamos la salida.
Finally, the group emerged on U.S. soil.
Cuando salimos vimos que venía una camioneta, que nos dijeron que era una camioneta la que nos iba a recoger y nosotros salimos y corrimos a montarnos en ella.
The getaway vehicle had been waiting there for them, but as soon as it pulled away,
pues nos agarró la migra.
Yuzuri Martinez Alvarez and her group were spotted by sensors and cameras just up from here. Border Patrol agents noticed that there was a white pickup truck driving on Highway 11 right here. That's when Border Patrol pulled them over and they found Yuzuri and the others.
That Texas police vehicle is going eastbound back on 11 now.
Patrol agent Chris Buskey and his team guard the section of the border the group crossed, a 48-kilometer stretch along the New York State-Quebec line.
Toronto and Montreal make this area very accessible. Plus, you look at the network of highways and interstates right here. So it's accessibility, it's the ease of crossing that it makes this area much more attractive.
Buskey's team patrols just a part of this wider section of the Canada-U.S. line, known to U.S. agents as the Swanton sector. It's seeing a sharp spike in illegal crossings, at least 600 caught since March.
The tide's getting higher. It is absolutely getting higher. Seems to be since about March or April of this year. And it has stayed consistent since then.
It's going to be a Texas 621.
Hey, did we come up with some?
Copy, there's 9 in this vehicle.
Hey, they caught him.
Another group caught by the patrol, but their prime concern are those in the shadows pulling the strings of smuggling networks.
Those are the criminals that we are trying to apprehend, and those are the criminals that are endangering the community. And that is our job, to stop these guys because they're exploiting these illegal migrants. Those are the people we're here to stop.
People like Jose de Sala Garcia, the man who picked up Yuzuri and her group after they crossed the line, charged with alien smuggling and later released. Yuzuri said she feared him more than the police.
Cuando yo me subí a esa camioneta, entonces la mirada de él era muy pesada. Se me quedaba viendo muy feo y yo me sentía con miedo, mucho miedo.
CBC News has learned de Sala Garcia is a top lieutenant for an alleged major drug trafficker in New York City named Nelson Cruz. Detectives believe Cruz led an organization that imported fentanyl from Mexico and sold weapons on the side. Both men are now in custody on drug and gun charges.
Que si a mí no me hubieran agarrado, ahora sí que los policías, no sé dónde estuviera.
A flood of emotion when Yuzuri is finally released in late July.
Hola, mami.
But her journey is far from over. She's now a file in the U.S. immigration system. Her immigration lawyer, Halinka Zolchik.
Mexico's been getting more and more dangerous, more and more corrupt. When it's bad there, then that's when people come. It's the smugglers that don't really care about, these lives. And the promises that the smugglers make, the Coyotes make, is very different from the reality.
In Ottawa, the federal minister in charge of border security, Marco Mendicino, says smugglers need to be targeted on multiple fronts.
That means continuing to support police with the resources that they need, continuing to ensure that we have all the legislative tools in place that are necessary, and finally, making sure that we have strong lines of communication with the United States so that we can share intelligence, share information, and bust up those networks.
¿Y alguien está esperando en la
Sí, en el otro punto. Por eso digo, a ustedes los bajan y va el guía allá en la camioneta.
¿Y es seguro?
Sí. Pues hasta ahorita pues
no ha pasado nada,
no van solos, no se les deja botados ni nada.
Jesus sets the time and location for the pickup.
Te puedo ver si quieres en la estación de Duffer en el Bluff.
Okay.
A las 6:20.
Okay.
6:20 de la mañana.
I'm there when he arrives at the Toronto Transit Station. A second traveler gets in the SUV on a journey likely doomed to end in the hands of U.S. immigration. That weekend, Border Patrol catch at least 19 people after they cross the same area that Jesus promised would be safe. I call Jesus later and reveal I am a journalist.
Trabajo por la emisora CBC.
He tells me it was his first time setting up a pickup and that he's only one link in the chain. I asked him if he thinks it's fair to charge people thousands of dollars just to end up behind bars.
O sea, ¿tú crees que eso es justo para cobrar a alguien $4,500 para que lleguen a una cárcel en...
No, claro que no es justo para nadie. Yo no tenía conocimiento de eso.
It's true. It's not fair. Jorge, the woman in your story, Yuzuri, expressed a lot of emotion about that journey through Canada into the U.S. You spoke with others who had similar stories, right?
Yes, Adrienne, we spoke with 4 other women, and just like Yuzuri, they were apprehended by U.S. Border Patrol. They told us how they paid thousands of dollars on promises of safe and easy journeys that turned brutal. They were left at the mercy of these human smugglers, and you heard their lawyers speak about this, how these smugglers do not have their well-being in mind when they leave them abandoned on the line. And some of these women told us they wanted to speak out to warn others who may be thinking about following similar trails. Adrienne?
And where, Jorge, do Canadian authorities fit into this?
Well, these smuggling networks operate in cities like Toronto and Montreal, and they have cross-border connections that deal in things like drugs, fentanyl, for example, and weapons. Now, this may give some political leaders some pause, along with the possibility that others may also put their lives in the hands of these networks unless word gets around about who these smugglers are and that the path they lay out often leads into the hands of U.S. Border Patrol. Adrienne?
All right, Jorge Barrera, thanks to you and your team for that work.